Ako naman na magtatanong.
Okay.
Pwede?
Depende. Game.
Ba't di mo ako inintay?
Hindi ko naman
Bakit?
Hindi ko naman kasi alam na darating ka. Kung alam ko lang, dapat hindi na ako nag-adventure. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Heart once again, and today is going to be a very exciting episode because we are going to be featuring one of our most requested guests. Welcome to Adulting 101 with me, Heart and Chiz.
Hi, darling.
Welcome back. Parang matagal na kitang hindi nakita. How
Ganun?
are things in your life these days?
Okay naman. Sa gilid-gilid lang.
Because actually, we came up with the questions because on Instagram, we asked people to, ask whatever they like. And we had actually 200 messages from you guys, so thank you so much. But because we can't really keep this busy bee with us for a very long time, we came up with a few questions, the best questions, and we felt that people could relate to.
So, ang sabi nila, tanungin niyo yung matanda, baka masagot nila to, ganon?
Yes. Okay, so my first question, people that are dealing with changes, like you're going through changes, like with your schedule, with everything, how is it going and how do people deal with changes?
You simply adapt. The only thing permanent in this world is change. So, palagi magbabago yan, palaging may magbabago sa buhay mo, and you can't keep it the same way as it has been for the longest time. So, you have only one choice, adapt to the change. Try to make the most out of it. In my case, I'm from legislative, I'm going to the executive branch. So I'm trying to adapt to that change.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but we're getting there.
So it is difficult to adapt to change, but how can you be very, have gratitude and still handle it with grace?
When you say adapt, you have to accept it. You have to embrace it. Don't fight it. While you're fighting it, the more difficult time you will get in trying to adapt. So embrace it, accept it. There's nothing you can do about it, whether it's for the good or for the bad. Still, you have to adapt and accept it. Otherwise, mahihirapan ka lang lalo.
Paano kung nga hirap na hirap, tapos depressed, tapos buisit ka and bitter ka? Syempre, that's the reality.
Kasi hindi mo tinatanggap at nilalabanan mo pa.
So, anong first step nga?
Tanggapin mo.
Ganun talaga.
Ganun lang.
But, what's the time frame for you have to mourn? Of course.
Yes, but that's part of the process of accepting. You mourn if it's something bad, if it's change leading to something bad, then you need time to mourn. The same is true with respect to change, that all of a sudden something good happened in your life. There's a time to celebrate too, but that's part of accepting. Celebrating or mourning at the same time, or while you're going through that process, accepting it along the way and dealing with it basically.
And for
Harsh
people,
ba?
sobrang harsh. It is harsh. That's why they're asking, because there are a lot of people.
It is harsh, but you can't sugarcoat it. That's why the oft-quoted phrase, that's life. C'est la vie. Ganun talaga ang buhay. So, hindi naman palaging masama yung pagbabago. May pagbabago din naman maganda. And if you weigh it out, when you look back in your life, you'll see and realize, hopefully, na yung pagbabago na ganap sa buhay mo, karamihan doon is for the better.
Yeah, it'll all make sense. This is a topic that a lot of people talk about. It's been everywhere, and I actually haven't really spoke about this, about my share of anxiety and stress. People see you on social media, and of course you like to uplift people, you like to inspire people, but the reality is we all don't have perfect lives, and I have
Actually.
I have anxiety. I have anxiety with it. It was just one flight, and now all the flights are all the same. I feel like I'm gonna die. Like this is it. And then it shifted to elevators, and it shifted to fear of madapa ka, mamamatay ka na. How do you deal with that? You give the best advice, like how I survived because of him. So
I try, but successful na ba?
It works.
Really?
Yeah. Consistent lang. Sorry makulit, but yeah.
Basically, people think if they're afraid of something that they don't have or they lack courage. There's actually a very good definition of courage, which basically says that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome it. So that you're afraid of something doesn't mean you're less courageous. That you fear something doesn't mean that you're a fearful person. Courage is basically defined as one's ability to overcome it. Kung tatagalogin natin yun, walang lalaking matapang sa lumilipad na ipis. Basically, yun ang Tagalog version nun. So, normal matakot. Normal magkaroon ng takot, normal makaramdam ng takot. Pero ang tanong, kaya mo bang lampasan yung takot na yun? So, she often asks me the question, why is this happening to me? Sabi ko, maliban sa baka may balat ka sa puwet. Because probably God is making you stronger. Meaning, He lets you go through all of these bad experiences to make you stronger, to test your ability to overcome that fear. Hindi naman para gawin kang manhid, pero para makayaran mo yung mas malala pa sigurong ibabato sa'yo. Not because He wants to really make it more difficult for you, but to make you stronger.
Eh, paano if you doubt yourself? I mean, it's easier said than done, but of course, you go through it over and over.
In my case, I bring it to its logical conclusion. If it happens, and if I can accept it and there's nothing I can do about it, then I stop thinking about it. Because at the end of the day, pinoproblema mo na, wala pa. So, parang double whammy naman yun. Wala pa, pinoproblema mo na, pinagdaanan mo na yung sakit ng ulo at yung nararamdaman na wala pa naman, paano pang hindi naman natuloy, sayang lang yan.
I hear that all the time. All the time.
Nakakapagod yan. Di ba nakakapagod yan?
Oo, pero kailangan pa ulit-ulit ng slide.
Hindi ka ba napapagod?
Pagod na ako.
Kaya nga.
Oh.
Kaya nga.
But I'm better now. So I hope you guys are gonna feel better soon. The greatest lesson in life that you've learned? Candidate number 1.
In relation to your question about change, nothing lasts forever. So make sure you act, think, walk, and speak with that at the back of your mind. So, habang mataas ang pwesto mo, habang may pera ka, huwag mong isiping habang buhay yun, baka dumating yung panahon na mawala yun, yung kabaligtaran naman totoo. Kahit na mahirap ka o naghihirap ka ngayon o nagtitiis ka ngayon, hindi rin naman habang buhay yun. So make sure that you're able to adapt to that change. Sa madaling salita, huwag kang magbago kung ano at sino ka man, saan ka man nakarating, para pag mawala man yun, normal pa rin yung buhay mo.
So a lot of people now in their 20s are going through so much pressure. Actually, if they think about it, it's not as big of a problem, but then because there's just so much going on, they're facing so much stress and everything. But when you were in your 20s, what is something you know now that you wish you knew in your 20s?
Dapat niligawan ko lahat ng gusto kong ligawan. No.
Usap tayo mamaya.
When I turned 20, I was in my first sem at the UP College of Law. Tama ba? Yeah, when I turned 20. So my advice to myself at that time, do your work and at the same time live your life, defined as do what you need to do, like finish your studies, apply for a job, look for a job for that matter, but at the same time enjoy life. Enjoy life meaning to say, this is your time to have no fear. This is your time, not to be reckless, not to be carefree, but to have no fear. Absence of fear insofar as trying new things, trying things you haven't tried before, things that you're uncomfortable with. This is the time, because later on in life, when you have regular job obligations to your aging parents or sickly parents, you have a wife, you have children, you should be more careful already, but experiencing it at this early stage via living life will never happen again. But living life also includes spending time with your loved ones, because you can't bring it back too. That was the time when you were still also more vulnerable than you are now. Mas mahina yung loob mo, mas kulang ka sa tapang, mas walang pera yung bulsa mo. It would be nice to make your parents feel needed and wanted at that time. Especially given the fact that in my case, ayaw na matulog ng mga anak, di ba? Nung nila Chessie at Kino katabi ko. It goes there. And it's nice for any parent to see their kids actually wanting and needing them even at that age. So it would be nice to show that to them too. And that should be part of the definition of living life.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to your passion and practicality, what would you choose?
Depending on my age, probably. Right now, it's practicality.
Annette, let's go. Huwag na age. Kasi masyado advance. Mga age ko. Mga 20s. Charot.
Say that mo, darling, practicality.
And that 20-somethings. 20-somethings to 30, it's more or less the same.
It's never too early to save and be practical, but there's also a time to actually enjoy not only what you have, but enjoy life as it is brought before you. So between the two, it should always be a balance. If you can do both, why not?
Yeah.
As they say, you can have the best of both worlds when it comes to this one. But on big purchases, definitely, you have to choose one over the other. But sometimes, and more often than not, you can actually balance the two. Meaning, you want to go somewhere, you don't have to live in an expensive hotel. You can live in a cheaper hotel so that you get to balance practicality and, di ba? Check ba yung box na yan? So you get to balance it. You really want to visit this place, you want to go there, you want to be there. But at the same time, you want to set up some amounts to save for the future, then you can do both. But live in a smaller hotel, in a cheaper hotel. Di ba? Shop less.
Yes, shop. Dalhin nyo na yung mga OOTD nyo. Hindi nyo kailangan bilhin doon. Baunin nyo na. And then set ka na. Hindi na naman alam kung saan ka nakatira, right?
Tapos i-delay niyo yung pag-post para kunwari 2 linggo kayo doon.
Okay, so when it comes to work, like what do you love about your work, your job, and what sets you, like keeps you inspired while working? Because, you know, work is work. That's why it's work.
In my case, that I get to make a difference in the hope that I'll be remembered for it. That has always been the reason why I entered politics. That's always been the reason why I entered government. I was asked that question when I first entered government service in 1998 as a congressman, as the representative of the 1st District of Sorsogon. They asked me, why did you run? The beauty queen answer would be, because I want to make a difference. I couldn't stomach that answer, so I answered truthfully. My answer was, is, and will always be, because I want to be remembered. And this is the only thing I know by which I could be remembered. For example, unlike you, I cannot act, I cannot paint, I cannot sing, I cannot dance, I cannot write.
You can paint naman, dear. Painting na yan.
No, that's why that's why it's here. Nobody buys it. I cannot write a book or leave a book behind. So after my time is passed here on Earth, you can easily be forgotten. So hopefully, with the things I'm doing, I'll be remembered by it. In a good way, hopefully, not in a bad way. So in a way, it feeds itself. For you to do good, for you to do well, in the hope that you will be not really famous, but at least be remembered for it and by it. So that's what keeps me going.
Well, because you're very, very busy. Very, 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 very busy. And there are a lot of people that...
Sino mas busy, ikaw o ako?
Ikaw.
Erling,
Pag in-add natin yung time na wala ka, ganun din yun in a week. Ikaw wala ka ng 3 times a week.
pero kung wala akong kailangan yakapin o halikan sa trabaho ko, ay, ibang
Ay,
topic po
hindi
yan.
naman artista. Anyway, wait. Because we live such busy lives, and a lot of people also live such busy lives. I can only imagine the women that just gave birth, but they have to work, they have to mawawalay sila sa mga pamilya nila. How do you make your life balanced? Like you have time for your family, you have time to work. How do you do that? What is the best balance, the best setup?
Not everyone is as lucky. Just look at it as a phase. May panahon sa buhay mo na talagang kailangan mong pagdaanan na kulang yung oras mo sa pamilya. Basta tiyakin mo lang at some point in time sa buhay mo, mababawi mo rin yun sa kanila. For example, someone who needs to work 9 to 5 and they live outside of Metro Manila, for example, in Cavite or somewhere. They have to leave their house at 4:30, 5 a.m., wake up at 4 o'clock or 4:30 a.m., do the commute, spend 2 to 3 hours commuting, arrive in the office before 9, leave at 5 or 6. By the time they're home, they arrive at about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So usually, tulog pa yung anak nila o tulog na pag uwi nila. But look at it as a phase. It's something you're doing for your kids. It's something that will not last forever. And you will always have time to be with them. In my case, I made a decision. I wanted to spend time with my kids. So, after work, uwi na yun para makabawi-bawi ka. Wala mo ng barkada, kung may barkada man, sa bahay kung gusto nila magpunta. Sa bahay kung libre sila. That's why I ended up getting used to meeting friends at home.
Thank you.
Because I wanted to balance both. Otherwise, Alam mo yun, wala ka ng oras sa pamilya mo, mag-outing-outing ka pa, makikipag-inom ka pa sa kung saan bar, lalabas ka pa. So, ano na niya, tira. So at least, you get to hit 2 birds with 1 stone.
Sa mga asawa dyan, sa mga boyfriend there, girlfriends that are listening, I'm so sorry you're watching this vlog, but that is the truth. It's the only way that it'll work if you really make sure that you have time together, not necessarily hugging, kissing, and everything. Kailangan magkatabi, tama ba?
Ganun?
Not necessarily that, but the idea that you guys are together is good enough. Yeah. Dati, when we were starting out, sama-sama na loob ko. I think it's because I was also younger and I was very clingy. I was very, gusto ko like kami katabi, gusto ko like kami holding hands, ganyan. Naiinis ako kasi parang hindi siya masyadong physical, hindi siya masyadong romantic, ganyan. I mean, physically.
May naranasan ka bang ganun sa buhay mo na?
Wala.
Wala na.
But then I realized that it's not just all about that. That the reality is you have to marry your best friend.
May naranasan kang ganun din na it's about that? Then,
So, importante talaga yung friendship sa relationship. Because it's not always roses and petals, but what's important is and what makes it last is the friendship. Tama? Tama. Okay.
parang sinasabi mo, friendship na lang tayo.
Sinasabi ko lang, malaking foundation yung friendship. Kasi hindi lagi kayo magkakaintindihan. You don't have to always be in love as long as you really love each other unconditionally. This is what makes the relationship work. Now, I want to ask, and a lot of people are going to ask, how do you keep
Pwede ba ako magtanong later?
how do you keep a relationship strong? Is my next question.
You work at it. As you said, it's not going to be all easy, all smooth. So you definitely have to work at it, and sometimes even fight for it. That will be the best test of whether or not your relationship will last. Kasi kahit ako yung pinagdaanan ko sa'yo, ang daming grab.
Dear, hindi ako yun. You're mistaken.
Hindi, so you work at it and you fight for it. There are times it'll be easy that you're coasting along as if it's not working at it, but it's just arriving naturally. Then enjoy that time. Times that you have to work at it, then you do. Times that you have to fight for it, di ba parang di ba? Hindi naman forever fighting for it. Hindi naman forever working at it.
against the world.
May mga panahon na madali rin naman. So, pag panahon na dapat mong paglaban mo. Pag panahon na kailangan mong pagpaguran, pagtrabuhan, gawin mo. Pero hindi naman palaging maging ganyan. May mga pagkakataon din na okay lang naman.
Hindi naman palaging happy. Like, for example, we don't really talk about it much because
Uh-oh.
now this is kind of, you don't really talk about it much, but like some things don't really go our way. And like, for example, I never really spoke about it so openly because I felt that I wasn't really ready, and I feel now I'm ready. Like, losing our twins. We never really spoke about that. And how would you advise people that went through the same thing? Because when I went through that, I remember getting a lot of messages and a lot of people could really relate to, and it's, it's a high percentage of babies not surviving. So,
if you have someone beside you, whether it's your parent or parents, your husband or your boyfriend or a loved one or a friend, you cannot both be indulging or dwelling in it. That's how I saw it and I see it. Meaning to say, we can't both be crying on each other's shoulders and actually trying to console each other.
yeah.
One has to do the consoling over in relation to the other one who's grieving. Wag mo lang sabayan. So, in my case, I didn't indulge, I didn't dwell. That time hasn't come yet. It may come soon. Wag lang sabay. And that's how, I guess, we were able to overcome it. Compared to a situation na pareho kaming wasted na inconsolable, mahirap naman yan. So, although it seemed that I was not affected and only you were the one who was affected, It's something that a couple should actually
Nakita kita, umiyak ka eh. Kala mo tulog
work
ako eh.
at and do.
Pagbaba ko, super bloodshot yung mata niya. But, I really appreciate though that the way you handled it because it was my first time and he's experienced in the past things. So I really appreciate that. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Parang iba yung sinasabi mo sa akin noon nung ginagawa ko yun.
Siyempre, iba yung pinagdadaanan ko. Hindi ko masyado na sum up lahat-lahat. But it was really a big help that you really have somebody that's there for you that really allows you to just be. Again, it's something that you don't have to be selfish about it, but you need somebody that really loves you unconditionally and just, accepts and waits for it. And then, bigayan talaga.
It comes around.
Yeah.
Sooner or later it does.
And then about love.
You come around sooner or later.
And you come around sooner or later. No tabs. Okay, so now about love and relationships.
Mga past ba to, mga present, o mga future?
In a nutshell, what is your tip for those people that are going through something or a marriage that's not working or a relationship that's not working, about breakups, about goodbyes? Yan, kasi madami nakaka-relate sa mga ganyan.
It's different for every person. Different levels of love, true love, not so true love, puppy love. Only you can tell if it's love per se, love, or simple attraction, or a rebound. Only you can actually say. Now, the sooner you are able to determine what kind of a love is involved in your relationship, all the better for you. Meaning to say, if it's simply a rebound kind of a love, then the sooner you get it over and done with and actually try to be with the person that was meant for you, the better. If it's merely attraction na parang maganda, guwapo, ganon, the sooner you get over that and move on and try to be open to the one who was actually meant for you, the better. Now, if you finally found, you think,
The mothership of all loves type. How?
the one you think is the one. Wala namang formula na ito true love to. Pag ito maramdaman mo, true love to. Pag ito maramdaman mo, hindi yan. Di ba yung mga ibang kaibigan mong advice natin, sayang lang oras mo dyan. And they know it.
Yeah.
Somehow deep inside, they know it, that it's not the one.
Yeah.
But they're just, as they say, trying to get by. At the end of the day, it's not about settling. It's about actually finding the one you love and the one who loves you. Nobody really settles, and nobody should settle. It's unfair both on your part and on the other person's part. Ako naman na magtatanong. Pwede?
Defende. Game.
Ba't di mo ako inintay?
Hindi ko naman
Bakit?
Hindi ko naman kasi alam na darating ka. Kung alam ko lang, dapat hindi na ako nag-adventure. Dapat I should have shortcut na. But I guess, I read somewhere that we meet people for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And I think everything that I went through just prepared me for the person that I was going to end up with. If I probably missed a certain chapter, maybe
Hindi ba pwedeng lifetime na lang diretso?
Hindi ganun kasi yun eh. Wala nga, kahit pwede ko sana mag-shortcut, kaya lang hindi pwede mag-shortcut. Kailangan mo talagang pagdaanan yun. And maybe that's why, because I needed to be who I am today. So, deserving naman ikaw na makukuha ng tao na I feel that you deserve. And maybe I really had to go through that to prepare me for you. So, looking back, I really don't regret anything. I'm glad that I went through that because I think I know how to love the right way, the proper way, if there's even such a thing. But for somebody like you, you deserve the world. I'm the world. Thank you so much.
Holding hands lang naman kayo nun, di ba?
Hindi nga na, kung parang ganun nga lang yung Well, thank you so much. I guess that sums it all up. I hope you guys, again, learned a thing or two or even more. Thank you again for all the questions. And thank you so much for your time, your presence. And thank you so much for being with me. I'm a lucky girl. And yes, I pray you guys are going to also find somebody like him. This has been Heart and Chiz for Adulting 101. Bigyan mo na. Like and subscribe. Ganyan.
Ano ba sa Tagalog yun? Sige nga.
Ako na, dear. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.